Welcome to Matters Financial and Geopolitical from a Frontier. I hope the year's going well. Let me start with a photograph I took at 6 this morning of the crescent moon just outside my house. And I tweeted, "Good morning world, rise and shine." I didn't use a filter. Macro thoughts, quite an extraordinary night. In fact, a flash crash and holiday thinned currency markets. Investors rushed to sell risky assets, with the Japanese yen soaring against major currencies in a matter of seconds. This is dollar yen. Last time I looked, it was at 106.88, but have a look, we got to below 105. Really is a phenomenal move. And Bloomberg's reporting that the flash crash moves hit currency markets. It took 7 minutes for the yen to surge through levels that have held through almost a decade. Traders are still seeking to piece together what happened just before 9:30 a.m. in Sydney, when orders came to sell Australia's dollar and Turkey's lira against the yen. While some pointed to risk aversion triggered by Apple Inc. cutting its sales outlook, and I'll get to that in a minute, others said Japanese retail investors were behind the trades. Whatever the cause, the moves were exacerbated by algorithmic programs and thin liquidity, with Japan on holiday, and the Bank of Japan as well, self-evidently. The yen jumped almost 8% against the Australian dollar to its strongest since 2009 and surged 10% versus the lira. The moves were very violent, said Stephen Miller. It have caught some by big surprise. Certainly most folks would have been asleep. Flash crashes have happened before in early Asian trading when liquidity is thin. The pound plunged 6% in 2 minutes on October the 7th, 2016, over concerns over Brexit and speculation of a fat finger. So really dynamic moves overnight, and I wonder if this is a harbinger for the year. And on the 24th of December, I said, the questions that investors need to ask themselves are the following. How much higher will the Fed dial up rates? The markets are signaling no more, or no mass, as that famous boxer once said. Powell, who has incurred Trump's wrath, predicted 2 more quarter-point hikes in 2019, and I was saying a lot hinges on this outlook. I then asked, where do we sit on the tariff war graph, and what happens if China catches a cold? And I think Apple is telling us that they are sneezing. What is the China-Africa feedback loop going to look like, and does the 2018 trend have further to run? Going back to that point, what happens if China catches a cold? The Cupertino, California-based tech giant Apple blamed fewer iPhone upgrades and slowing sales in China in warning about revenues in its most recent quarter, its first such warning since 2007. Apple's share price is seen in this chart from Bloomberg. I take you back to an article I wrote at the end of the year when I said the direction of the dollar is therefore pivotal. And I also said then I'm increasingly in a minority, but I expect the dollar to strengthen about 10% through 2019. On the 2nd of January, I was referencing Annus Mirabilis with an Annus Mirabilis quote, and I said the markets will be more Darwinian. And I was also quoting Tennyson's The Death of the Old Year, which concludes, his face is growing sharp and thin. Alack, our friend is gone. Close up his eyes, tie up his chin, step from the corpse and let him in. That standeth there alone and waiteth at the door. There's a new foot on the floor, my friend, and a new face at the door, my friend, a new face at the door.